I want to welcome to Gray Matters Councilman Gene Cook from Huntington. Welcome.
Hey, Chris. Good to see you.
Nice to see you again. All right, now you got a lot of things cooking. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about the latest thing regarding the bond issues you were talking about.
Yeah, interesting enough. At last month's board meeting, the town bonded $18.615 million. I voted no to all of them other than one, which was important to me for Huntington Station, and that was a $8.5 million bond for the James Conti Center, and that's to have a community center in the name of
Where's it going to be?
James
Yes.
Conti. Yeah. And that will be down right off of Park Avenue near the new Avalon Bay buildings. So it's the old Armory.
He was a good man.
He was a great man, yeah.
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 And what is this 18.6 million going to encompass? Some of the things that you are voting against, that you voted against.
They bonded $50,000 for beach sand. This is stuff that should be put right into the capital budget. They bonded $200,000 for computers to have a useful life of 4 years, but we're bonding them out for years. Okay, and
what does that do to the taxpayer?
Well, what happens is, as the supervisor says, you have to do this because this is how we get all our things done, and it sort of kicks off the pain of it, of increasing taxes.
It kicks the can down the road?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And what happens is, I disagree with that, okay? I'll give you the perfect example. We have a number of excavating companies and people that do all sorts of work in the town. They're digging sand all the time. If we were more friendly to them, okay, and go out and say, hey, if you guys have sand you want to get rid of, we can stockpile it at one of our facilities. And then this way we have the sand to replenish the beaches. Simple stuff.
Kind of like a barter system.
Kind of like a barter exchange thing, but this way it doesn't cost the taxpayers any more money, and it doesn't kick the can down the road.
And what about this overbuilding situation going on in the town? I don't know if you're concerned about it, but I know I have.
Yeah, there's a lot of building going on, and there's a bunch of issues going on with it. Some of the important things are in Huntington Station, where the town hired a company called Renaissance many years ago, and they're now working, and they're just starting to do some work on New York Avenue, north of the train tracks. And I have to say, I'm happy to see some movement there. Okay, and I voted to move it forward because I believe it's going to bring back industry and businesses to Huntington Station.
What kind of?
Well, I think it'll bring a lot more stores and commerce with people not afraid to walk through Huntington Station.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want it, we want it to be as vibrant as Huntington Village or Northport Village or any of the other towns.
Yeah, my biggest concern is that whenever you put something in motion, especially like the residential type, that you're going to overcrowd the area. I had come to Huntington myself to live because I would like the space and I wanted the privacy. I didn't want to have to be piled up on top of somebody else. I grew up in the city. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
So if they kept that up, if the town keeps that up, I would be happy. I'm just nervous about building something that would cause the taxpayer to be thinking about sewage, electric, power, traffic, road conditions, all those kinds of things.
And absolutely, and those are important things. And there's got to be a good balance to that. And I don't think there's a good balance at it right now. But we need to look forward and see what the best way is to get it taken care of. With Renaissance coming in, I'm hoping that project will work well so we can see what happens and move it forward. And there's ideas of hotels coming in and using the train station a little bit more and having a nice, safe community. And that's really important.
Did you, I know the last time we spoke about the parking in town and that you had recommended at one time that you were going to put a lot there behind south, I guess it's south of Green Street, is that what it is?
Yeah, between Green Street and New Street.
And I thought it was a fabulous idea. Instead, they put parking meters out, which throws everybody off. All the local people are all upset.
Right, and that's an issue. I think that's resolved now to some extent. That people aren't happy with it.
People aren't happy with it.
No, they're not happy with it. And
I'm not happy with it either.
Yeah. But the parking garage was a very interesting project. And what I said to the supervisor, the first couple of months I got in when I was elected, 6 years ago, that we could put a parking garage up and do a really nice system and make a long-term lease with somebody that would build it, and it wouldn't be any cost to the taxpayers. After hounding him for a few years, they finally put an RFP out to see what would come out.
RFP?
Is a requisition for proposals.
Okay.
So what happened was they got some things back, which I don't think were done properly, but it was going to be way too much money, and the designs were wrong. So I would like to see a nice design put up by a good architectural firm that the town would hire, and then put that out as an RFP and say, this is what we're looking to do, and we'll give a 30-year or 50-year lease, and let somebody build it and take care of it and maintain it, and also have the option to increase the amount of parking spaces that would be there in case the town needed it.
Is it that they could be contemplating money coming back from, say, a coin-operated parking facility, or was there a gate that somebody has to be paying? What could be in maintenance, or what could be in the cost that's needed to run the place?
The cost to bond it, just to give you an idea on some of the rough figures, is about $1.6 million a year, okay? And the amount generated for it is about $900,000. So the taxpayers are on the hook for another $700,000, and that's unacceptable to me. It really is. If you do a nice design, it's got to be aesthetically pleasing for the area. It's got to fit right into the area.
That's for sure.
And I think there's a lot of businesses around there that would appreciate it. You want to have parking, on the top level for employees of those, businesses and what have you.
Oh, that's right. You're going to have a little bit of...
Right, so you have to take care of a little bit of everything. And I really think that the design is important for us as a community to have our own people do it. And then we take that design and we give it to the developers or business people that want to build it and maintain it.
Did you ever see the one in Stony Brook Hospital?
I have.
It's a very nice one.
It's nice, but I'm not looking for that. I like the ones that are in California, where you have music in there, well lit, maybe some first floor or second floor restaurants or stores, something that is possibilities.
From the ground up.
Yeah, but it has to be aesthetically pleasing and fit into the beautiful town of Huntington.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
I wouldn't want to waste my time building some square box that with some holes in it.
And to be honest with you, what happened, which was very interesting in the discussions, we found a artist renditioning of a parking garage for that same area, and guess what the date was on it?
85.
1956. So this has been going on for a long time, and it's about time we get it done.
Yeah, what's the...
Well, it's money. It's huge money. So we've got to be careful on how we spend it.
Well, I just don't want to see any waste. I hope something like that
Believe
happens.
me,
It's important.
that makes two of us. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you talking about a recent building project where Media Villa was, which was the old apple cider farm, and was an apple tree farm, right?
It was an apple tree farm, and there's a developer that wants to come in and put in, a huge shopping mall. There's a lot of residents that don't like it. There's a lot of residents and community activists that do like it.
What's the contemplation there?
Well, they want to put up sort of a high-end mall, with some nice grocery stores and some things that'll benefit the community. But what's nice is that the developer does not want to put, he does not want to have any IDA money, so that he's willing to pay the full tax on it. And he says it'd be about 1,200 construction jobs and about 800 full-time jobs after that. So there's a lot of things going on with that. Some community doesn't want it. They don't believe that we need more stores, and they may be right. Some of the
aren't there a lot of places that are still, I guess, empty and vacant?
Yeah, and there's a lot of stores going out, JCPenney and that kind of thing. So it really has to be looked at in detail. But it's another issue.
How do you feel about it at this point? Was there some other idea in contemplation over this?
Years ago, there was an idea of making a little village in there, a little town with commercial buildings on the first floor and apartments or co-ops on the second or third floors. And that went down in a bad defeat. So, it's something that has to be looked at in detail and see what happens and how the community really wants it to move forward.
So this could be a while. It's not something that's going to
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, no.
What other projects, I guess, recently in the town of Huntington would you claim that either were good ideas or something maybe it wasn't such a good idea? Just so I have a feeling as to what you believe.
Well, and this is the shame of it. There was a little area that wanted to be developed on the corner of Park Avenue and Main Street, down by the Village Green, and the fellow wanted to put up a medical facility, single-story medical facility.
Where the Village Green is.
It's across the street where the old Mobil gas station was, and
okay.
so he had beautiful drawings. He went through the Historic Society, and they had some issues, and he changed it. And unfortunately, it never came up for a vote. And it was a shame because it would have been a nice
there's not that much
project.
property there. That's only what?
There's not a whole lot of
half an
property
acre?
there, but it was enough. I think he wanted an 8,000 square foot building, which isn't a whole lot. I think it was about 1.5 acres of property there. So when you look at this, and you look at what's there now, it's,
Kind of
it
an
really
eyesore.
needs to be.
It needs something.
Yeah, it needs to.
It's got a nice old gas station. I don't know what happened to it, but
Yeah, the gas station was built back in the 50s, I believe, and it's still standing there, but you can't do much with it. So
some of the projects you worked on, like for instance the Northport VA parking lot that you had paved, that's near the golf course, am I right? Across,
right,
is it
it's
across
right
from
at the
it?
golf course. It was for the golf course. And there were some great guys that we worked with from the VA that are gone now, and it's a shame. They were really good people.
People at the VA.
Yeah, yeah. So
You also did some work at the Huntington, the Little Shelter, which my son just got a dog there not that long ago.
yeah,
He's-
yeah.
he loved it. He
They're
raves about
great
it.
people over there, and they work very hard, and they do a great job with the animals. So they do,
That's
whatever I can do for them, I'd be more than happy to do. I also did a couple of things for the American Legion Hall down in Milldam.
Yeah.
And it's easy when you have the knowledge. So they came in, and there was a new commander that took over and said he had all sorts of problems, and the roof was leaking, and there was problems here and problems there. And they had, again,
Be
a
ashamed
great
that they had
bunch
to
of
let
guys.
that go. Nice little parking lot in the back. Wasn't a bad little place. An old
Oh,
building.
Beautiful place. And so I made a couple of phone calls, and there are people out there that just would do anything for the veterans. And guy came in within 2 weeks, put a $60,000 roof on, no charge.
Wow.
Free. Donated windows, donated supplies.
Did you help in making that work out?
Oh yeah, of course. And what happens is that,
Fabulous.
but those are easy things because you can call up and say, veterans need help. Can you help them? And you'd be surprised on how many people say, absolutely, whatever you need. And it's really it's a great feeling. And so that was a nice deal. Then on the VFW up in Huntington Station, they had some
Pulaski Road,
issues.
that one on Pulaski?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had some issues with their parking lot, and they were designing all sorts of drainage and what have you. And I got some people to donate all the material and the paving and the labor, and came in and gave them a brand new parking lot, free of charge, no cost to the taxpayers. That's the way it should be.
That's the way it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you go back to the bonding of $50,000 for sand, and we have plenty of places to store that sand, and there's contractors and developers that are digging, why not just put that sand in trucks and drop it off at our yard? Why not? Makes it easy. And then there's no cost
It's hard
to
for
the
you to
taxpayers.
imagine at $18 million. Yeah, I was going to say
Wait a
that's
minute,
going
it's
to be
even worse
that's a
than that.
taxpayer increase coming though. That's coming. That's
They-
down the road.
Well, what happens is that you have to pay for it. But Frank Petrone, the supervisor now, is retiring. He's not running again this year. So what's going to happen is that with anybody new coming in there, hopefully what I suggest is that we go for a complete audit by the New York State Comptroller. And then this way we could find some issues and start saving money. But if you take
Didn't
a
you
look,
suggest an audit a couple of years ago?
I did, and the State Comptroller came in on 2 separate items of the town and found issues with both of those, and the town had corrected those.
And then walked.
Well, it takes a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. But when you have a whole new person in charge coming in there, you need to know what's there. And so whoever that might be, I'm going to suggest heavily that we put up a resolution to ask the State Comptroller to come in to do a complete audit of the books.
I would hope that somebody would have a lot of experience with the town before they walked into that position. I don't know if Supervisor Petrone was a lifetime resident or not, but it appears he just didn't have any interest in businesses or developing businesses in the town.
Well,
Since we lost Grumman as an island and the employer, we lost so many people who were out there looking for jobs, had to go get other jobs.
Right.
They were trained to be in that area. How many aerospace companies do you know are on Long Island?
Well, we have a couple of good things, and business is getting a little bit better.
I'm worried about the business in the future.
Yeah, and you know what? You need good business people to go out there and make sure that we open those opportunities up, because we need good paying jobs, and there's no doubt. And I think we can get them.
What kind of businesses could we look at as a possibility?
Well,
I mean,
certainly
in,
technology. And in Riverhead, they just made a deal with an aerospace company that took over the old Grumman facility out there, and are supposedly putting up 2,000 jobs.
That's the one out by Calverton on the north side?
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
So with those type of companies coming in, they will bring in other companies that need space and will help the tax base.
Different abilities to fulfill all the needs for the area. That's great. And you were also for something I should really mention is the term limits. You wanted to support a referendum on term limits.
Absolutely, and I have the resolution written. Basically, it says 2 4-year terms for all the policymakers, and that if anybody comes in and suggests that it's, go out a third term,
didn't that recently
it has
happen?
to go. In other places, yes, but it has to go to a referendum, so the people get the choice of saying, yes, we want it, or we don't. And so I think it's important, and I think what it does is give the people their government back. That's what I think is important.
Yeah. Are the council people's positions 2-year or 3-year?
They're 4-year terms.
Oh, they are 4-year terms.
And so I've been on the board for 6 years. I had, on the second term, I announced that I believed in term limits so much that I would not run a second time for council. So.
You announced that you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. So 2 years from now, I'm not going to run for council again.
Well, that's good. Well, you're living up to your term limits.
Yeah, I think it's that important.
Yeah.
I really do.
It certainly is. I mean, everywhere you go, it always seems that people are in like, how about Spoda from the county? Didn't he give himself another couple of years?
Yeah.
I'm wondering
if he's
how do you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. What else is coming up for the town of Huntington before we wrap up here?
Well, so they just bonded $18.615 million, and next month they're going to bond another $3.5 million.
For
all sorts of things. But
can that be stopped by us complaining about it? Can we do anything at all?
We can
slow
certainly
it down
complain,
or address it somehow.
What happens is that I'm the only vote that votes no. Okay, and so there's an election coming up, and people have to look at it and say, why are we bonding? We pay a lot of money in taxes. Okay, I'm sure you pay a lot of money in taxes. And what happens is that you look at it and say, why can't it be balanced properly? And certainly with good business people in there, I think it can be.
There's nobody with a good business acumen in there other than you.
It doesn't
I think,
seem
right?
to be.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if you had any idea of putting something out in the future that was going to cost you more money, how easily can you do that without at least giving the people the chance to report back on how they feel about it or how they could meet that need?
Right. And there's some things that are important. So I knew that they would never be able to put the Jim Conti community center.
Right.
They would never be able to put that in the budget. It wasn't the way the supervisor was thinking or what have you. So long story short, I voted for that, and that was $8.5 billion, okay? But I believe the Huntington Station needed that so much that it was important to get that done. And so those are the things. But the rest of it, for computers, for cars have a 7-year useful lifespan. Okay, what are you doing? Why are we bonding these? These are things that could be leased. They could be, there's other ways.
And the environment, the economic environment and the business environment could be different a few years down the road that might make it more favorable to lease rather than buy.
Right.
And rather than lay it on the taxpayer.
Absolutely, absolutely. So these are they're tough decisions. And so each person on the town board has to work
on everyone else's future. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's hard to. It seems like sometimes we're bargaining our own future.
Okay, so let me give you one more thing because I know we have to go. But right now, with the bonding of the $18.615 million,
right,
we owe over $103 million. We owe that. Okay, there's another
How are we gonna
26.
pay for it?
There's another 26 million on top of that we borrowed for other entities, water districts, and so on. So that what happens is that this is all going back to the taxpayers. So by the time they're done next month, it'll be 140 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's a lot of money. A lot of money for a
Who
town
else
to borrow.
knows about this besides you, who keep voting?
Obviously the town board knows, but they.
We just want a fair opportunity to take a look and see what's going on with the
Right.
town. We don't want it to be mortgaged out into the future.
Yeah.
Too far. Our kids are having a difficult time as it is now staying in this
There's
neighborhood.
no doubt, and it's difficult, and certainly there's issues with affordable living and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
These are complicated issues
that's a difficult
that take
issue,
a
I know.
lot of time and thought to get it done.
Well, you've done a great job, and thank you very much for your time, Jim.
Chris, my pleasure. Thank you.
You've been watching Gray Matters, the program that shines the light on the society that we live in. We keep you in touch with current events, political and hot-button issues of the day, bringing you right into the examination room on your TV. We measure the path and distance that you were and where you are today. You can all get a dose of perspective. This is the place to get it. Thank you for watching Gray Matters. We'll see you again next time.